Different solutions I can showcase, but let's get to the AP one. There's lots. Labor entry, prior period adjustments. So here is the L10 panel. So what they did is they used tailoring and they added a new button. Okay, so this is the first tailoring. What happens when that button is pressed is a hyperservice is called. And what that hyperservice does is it checks several things. It makes sure that the time has been transferred, that the user's authorized to view the time, that it's not past the prior period adjustment time limit. So we're first going to validate, and that's all happening in hyperservices. And what are we doing, or what's AEP doing? Just creatively using the existing modules that already exist in Asset Suite. This is business logic that's already there. They're just picking what they want right now and putting it together when that button executes. After that button is pressed and these things are checked, if it's not valid, of course, the error displays, but if it is valid, then a new panel launches. This is their new workflow. Okay, so now I just showed you a little example of tailoring. Let me give you one more example of tailoring. I know Jim's here. Something that we did together, Entergy really did it, is adding the estimated cost. So adding a new field to display the total estimated cost for a work order. And they did it so generically, their hyperservice building block, that they actually could put a new field to show estimated cost for the work order, for a given work order task, or for a given MR. So they did it, that systematically. So they used tailoring. They used tailoring to create a new field, and they used a hyperservice to bring back the estimated cost calculation. Now they wanted to change that calculation slightly, and they could, because they were using hyperservices to do it. So for the most part, they were reusing existing functions, but in some places they made some changes. So they wanted to add a couple things to that cost calculation that are not really baseline. This was all happening in our layer, so that's already externalized. It's in our SRE, virtual machines running it inside of FA. It's outside the baseline logic. So you're getting custom behavior without customizing at all. The next topic, let me just go back to it. The next topic on my PowerPoint, just to show you where we are. Was FA workflows and hyperservices. Okay, I've got tons of examples. And now I'm going to pull together about 3 or 4. And again, my goal is to inspire you. Hopefully I can show examples of the different things you can do. I'm going to continue on the labor entry because what happened after they tailored that panel was they launched a brand new workflow that they had created. Why did they create this workflow? Well, to make it more productive for the end user. The usual reason we create a workflow. Sometimes you're simplifying, but sometimes you're catering to a user that knows Asset Suite inside out. They just, want to do some particular task more efficiently. So what they did was they kind of combined the functionality of 2 existing panels, the L500 and the L510. Each of those panels, I'll just skip to those so you can see them. I have screenshots. Each of those panels shows a single day. So this panel is showing the prior period adjustments for a single day, and this one's showing the premium adjustments for a single day. What they wanted to really show was the entire week, and they wanted to show both, both the premiums and the prior period adjustments all in one place. So let's go back to this and take a look. So you can see the timesheet adjustments up above, the premium adjustments down below. You've got a full week's worth of data. Pretty complex workflow if you really think about it. I mean, probably the techie folks realize, there's some pretty good transformations happening under the scenes. But again, we're calling all the modules that exist, TM sub and those types of modules to do the updates and things like that. So the users can update data, and of course there's validation, so the hyperservice will validate, and in this case it failed, and we're showing the nice error message up above. If it was successful, you see nice error message. And then there's some extra functionality. The submit for approval is enabled if adjustments exist, and the approve button's enabled if the unapproved time exists and the user can approve. So pretty slick. They definitely users blowing kisses for that one. Some other examples. Anybody here from FPL? I was told there would be. Very good. Did I just catch one? Anybody else? Okay. Not just Velvet. Okay, so at FPL they started with work order completion, and they did action request closure, and they did a work order planning one, and they all kind of had the same goal. In fact, I'll show you the same pattern, because it doesn't matter whether you're working with ARs or work orders, it's the same pattern of what we're trying to achieve. So in Compose, you'll see a new menu item for their workflow. The minute the user launches the workflow, we don't want to make them do any work. We want to take everything that user needs to complete and put it right in front of their face. Now they can do other searches if that's not what they wanted to see. But okay, so what are they trying to make easy here? They're trying to make a specific process, which is closing an AR, highly efficient. And this entire workflow caters to that. So when we asked the users, we said, well, how do you prioritize these ARs when you're going to close them? They said, oh, well, there's assignments on the ARs. And the last assignment to close, that's when the clock starts ticking on us. So the ones that have closed earliest, we really need to do. Oh, and by the way, CRs, condition reports, are really important too. So I said, how about if we ordered it for you that way, maybe calculated for you. Went through the assignments and calculated the number of days since the last one closed and actually made it a column and sort it for you. And I said, that would be wonderful. And for those of you that want to embark on developing workflows for your users, I have a little advice. One common mistake that I've seen is that a lot of times we think that the users are going to give us their requirements. So we do a requirements gathering and we expect the users to give us their requirements. And it doesn't work like that. Users don't know how to give you requirements. They're not software engineers. They know exactly what they need, though. They know what makes them efficient and productive, but my point is you've got to ask the right questions. You've got to pull the requirements out of your users. And this is a case in point. The users wouldn't have thought to tell you, oh, please go calculate on the assignments, the last one that closed, and calculate the number of days and make that a column and sort by that and then sort by CRs. They wouldn't have thought to give you that. But when we asked, they had the answer right away. Oh, we know how we prioritize our work. This is how we do it. So that's my little piece of advice, hopefully, that comes in handy, is you got to ask the questions, you got to pull it out of them. And you'll find the more you do this, the questions actually become the same. It doesn't matter what workflow you're doing. There's a set of questions you're going to ask all the time, and you'll get some really good answers. Anyway, so the users see this, they click on the AR, probably the first one in the list because it's in their priority order, and boom, they see everything that they need to see to make the decision they're trying to make at that time. Nothing more and nothing less. So if I'm closing an AR, the business, FPL, NextEra, has decided that this is what they need to see. Now, these sections are expanded by default. We didn't have enough room to show them, but they literally can scroll down, and this is what they see. They see AR information, details. There's the description of the AR at the top. There's all their notes. They have a lot of notes in the notes section. The notes are grouped by user and by date and are displayed. Those of you that are very familiar know that it doesn't come out of the box that way. So we've creatively used those modules to fetch information and then transformed it in a way that was really productive and compact for the users so they can quickly see their notes. And we even asked them, what order do you want to see the notes in? So they got them in the order. Assignments. A whole list of the assignments. Every assignment with one glance. So there's you're seeing the first assignment and then the second assignment below, but they can just scroll, and they're seeing at that top all the header information, the description, in progress notes, completion notes, attributes that relate to what they're doing, everything in one glance, and they're just scrolling all the way through. Trend codes. They said, well, sometimes